Good morning, guys. It's Goose here, and welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. Excited for a great day. I love as the earnings are coming in. A lot of opportunities out there, so we're going to stick with that theory and keep showing you our ideas and what we're looking at with those type of probably stick with that theory over the next few weeks as we're going. Always want to throw in those little ones as well. And I know Ricky's a specialist at this. I have one on my list that he covered a few days back and gave some great information on. So make sure you could always refer back to some of the older videos also regarding some of the fundamental stuff, because we do, Ricky goes over those in incredible detail. Just want to remind you guys that, anything we're going over this morning, is not a solicitation. It's just ideas and thoughts on different names that are moving. Make sure you guys are doing your own homework, trading your own plans. All we're going to do is give you our thoughts on these things. So with that all being said, make sure you're reading the disclaimers. Make sure you're joining us. Make sure you're tweeting about us. Ready for a great day. Let's get them, Ricky. Let's see what you got.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Yeah, like you said, you can always refer back to previous tickers. Just search Stock Traders Net and then the ticker symbol, and you should be able to find whether or not we covered it. And you just click on the link and you'll be able to watch and see what we already said about it. Now, I see people in the chat asking about EVLV. I just want to let you guys know the reason I'm not touching on that, it's just way too close to $1. And I don't see it having enough meat on the bone, and it could be dangerous. So if it gets to $1.60, maybe I'll be interested. But for the remainder of this episode, I will be doing earnings. So let's get right into it, guys. ATI is the first thing on my list. They beat top and bottom. I really like the daily chart as well as the weekly. The revs were higher mostly due to a one-time event. They sold their stake in a joint venture that was with A&T Stainless. However, if you take out the revs from that sale, they still increased their revs by over 20 million from the same Q last year. So let's just look at the technical levels, guys. You can see we're breaking above the downtrend, or not the downtrend, just the top of the pennant that's been forming. I'm going to make this bigger. All right, guys. So we've been holding the 200-day. We reclaimed the 50-day and the 20. And, we've just been kind of coiling, getting nice and tight ever since the last earnings. And we're going to break this trend line here. And I also want to point out the weekly chart, guys, because it's what really got me looking. The way it was holding the 50 up, and the 50 is just going to cross the 200. It looks like on this move. We're just going to break this nice little shelf that's been building. I think this thing could have range. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to minimize that. I wanted to go back to the daily and point out. So you can look at the earnings. A lot of times the moves don't quite offer the move that has the range, but point out one of the ones that caught my attention. Let's go back to this boy right here, which, whoops, show you this. This day had a lot of range. Now, what was the reason? Well, it had straight 2 earnings seasons of a base building. So this is why we look for these nice big bases to build. And if you look at what we're dealing with right now, I feel like we have a decent, nice big coil built, and I think it could actually have the range today. So looking for this thing to bust over these levels, maybe test them, and then show us a good little entry to get long with something to put risk against. The next thing I'm looking at, guys, is Verizon, VZ. Another one that I really love the chart on. Let's just make this the 1 year. You can see how, well, first let's get into the fundamentals. They beat on top and bottom. They also have been locking in some subscribers. The numbers look good, but I do really like this mostly on the technical level, guys, and that's with the 50 here, reclaiming the 200 with some authority. Also been building these higher lows right here as it just kind of coils right under the 200. And people that were thinking, under the 200 is a bad look, they probably got a bit nervous with all this sideways action, just kept testing. So I'm looking for it to bust through 50, hold 50, and the first area I'd be looking for is at least $1 move, but I think it may even have more on this. Next thing, guys, is going to be 3M, which is MMM. They had earnings that were in line with estimates, but they issued lower guidance. And from a technical level, guys, you can see that, well, you can't see it in this chart. You can see, guys, they're breaking under this 210 level, which was the previous low from this push down. And so we basically are making lower lows. Longer term investors are going to have to start bailing. What I'm looking for is hopefully a push back up into that 210 area, show us some area to put defined risk on and look for a push down to 200. I really think it's a 200 magnet today. But on the other hand, if this thing just goes straight to 200 before the open, there's plenty of reason to believe that the level should offer support and possibly a nice op for a long scalp back to the 5-minute 20 at least. Let me zoom in on these 5-minute charts. So you can see right now the 5-minute 20 is right up at 207. If this thing just busts straight down to 200, you're going to have quite a bit of range back up to the 5-minute 20. But we're going to have to wait and see how that opens. It's all, for me, dependent upon whether or not we are extended away from the 5-minute 20 or not. So hopefully we get a push back up right before open on that 5-minute 20, and then see what happens from there. But it's always if-then statements, guys. So stay safe out there. I'm going to throw it back to Goose. I know he's got some good ones on his list. It's earnings season, baby.
Great job. I like that you're joining the dark side of Long Central. Wow.
How is that the dark side?
I don't know. It just is for you, I think.
I guess.
Just a quick note on that Verizon. I love your Verizon idea. I'm also going to be looking at a long on it. I'll pull it up real quick, what I was looking at. And what I was hoping for, you see this little level right in here, maybe looking for an imbalance back through 50 in that 49.60 area. You never know. You might get it and get lucky there. It's obviously still up a buck if it hits that level. And I would be looking for a trend to join back through 50. I really do like Verizon as a long. Not saying I wouldn't play it right off the $50 number either, but I like that idea also. So I'm going to switch into mine that I was covering, and I'm going to go over into Eli Lilly. And this is my thoughts on Eli Lilly. Yesterday, I think they came out with some news about some drug information that kind of set the stock off a little bit. And then they came out with some really fantastic numbers and guidance and all that. And I think it's going to provide me with a little opportunity, because I actually love the long on this thing. What I'm going to be looking for is there's two areas. I'm going to look at playing it off the $80 area first, which is going to be right up in here, which was the prior day's highs. And then I'm hoping that there's a chance that there's some sort of imbalance this morning that washes it down into the lower or mid 79s. And you might get that. As you can see, that's the low from the prior day yesterday, as well as the day before that, which would be Friday. So I think this is setting up for a nice long. I'm not saying I wouldn't play it off, 81 or 80 and a half. But I'm definitely looking at a long on Eli Lilly this morning, LLY. So I'm going to move right along into Caterpillar, another bigger price name, 159 bucks right now. And I drew a couple quick fibs just to show you something what I'm looking at. And where I'm looking at Caterpillar is in this 158 area, this little pocket right here. It's about a 50% retrace from the fibs that I've drawn so far on the prior. So I'm hoping for a pullback in this area, 5750 or anywhere in this range. Obviously, it's I'm hoping on a lot of these names. What you get is, if you guys have these, if you came over to StockTraders.net, you'd see that we have a turbo scan that shows a spike scan. So immediately when the market opens and you see those market imbalances, they're popping up on our scans. So I'm able to get them on those first wicks when they come in. So that's what I'm looking for on Caterpillar. If it does pull that off and come down in that 157 or 158 area, I'm definitely going to look to long it and join a trend on this one. But you can see what I'm looking at here. 157 is going to be my strongest, but I would probably start at maybe even at the 158 for a long play. And I'm kind of thinking on this one is a push back up. That would also be in this area, as you could see. But I'm looking for a push back up into this 164 area. I'm not sure that all happened today, but that's my initial goal, is 162 to 164. So, that's what I'm thinking about on Caterpillar. And I'm going to just drop into what Ricky loves to call turds. Here we go. Turd Central, as we call it, ATOS. Listen, I was licking my chops early on pre-market voice. I've told the guys I actually had a starter short on this thing already. I'm at 390 or so. At starter, it's probably at least 1/5 size or maybe even smaller. But I love the fade on this name. And it's popping up. A couple things. Ricky did a report on it a few days back. If you guys do that search, you'll see some of the details. It's a little under 3 million outstanding. I think most of that is the float. Ricky was telling me this morning. But this is moving up on phase one, update type thing. Now, there's two notes I want to put to you on this thing. First of all, is any push into this 450 area, as you could see. And you could see these candles here. Look at these wicks on this thing. Anytime it's had a push in the past, okay? I mean, they've stuffed this thing. It's not closed on highs. I'm not worried about that. But any type of push in this 450, I would start and let it go into the 5. And I probably, you want to be careful about adding. And this is what I want to make sure I include in this. Okay, it's not. I don't just go blindly into the trade. Okay. I have a feeling there's going to be some rooms that pump, this thing up looking for a long. And the reason is we're in earnings season. So what happens? The small caps get a little bit slower. So stick with the theory for a second. So the small caps are getting slower. They're dying. They're licking their chops trying to find that low floater that they could all jump on and create a long to go up to 4.5 or 5 and keep all their people happy that are following them. So I have a feeling this is going to get some coverage this morning and maybe do a push. So just be careful of that. Be aware of it. Be aware of the action. And obviously, if some volume spurts come in, it could kick up some algos to get it going a little bit faster. So, don't be shy to wait on the backside and wait for, some confirmations. I will sell into a push myself because I think this thing's coming right back where she started. So it'll be interesting. I got a lot of conviction on it, but I'm not naive. I want to make sure the action is telling me that, and I don't just stay so stubborn that I end up eating a big $1 or $2 loss on something like this. So, we got to be smart, but I really, really love this idea ATOS fade. So I'm going to end with that. You guys stay safe. It's Tuesday. Looking forward to a great day today, and let's see what happens. I'll be back at you guys tomorrow, 9:05. Thanks a lot, guys. Ricky?
Thanks a lot, Goose. That cat idea, I swear, if you didn't cover it, I was gonna. I'm definitely with you on CAT. Guys, had a friend tell me today I should use the Ricky tip, TIP. That is turds in play. So from now on, Stock Talk will have the Ricky tip. That's coming. I didn't have any to cover today, but tomorrow, look for the Ricky tip. That being said, come over to stocktraders.net and get yourself a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you don't have a trade. Stay safe out there. Protect your capital. Let's go out there and crush it. Woo!